Justice Department has secured felony guilty pleas from the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, Binance.
Actually, it's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Largest virtual.
Binance.
Binance. And let me be clear. It's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Council has discussed crypto regulations and legislations at length, and we have come to the conclusion that instead of regulating, we are going to ape a fat bag each into laptop and pump it to over $1,300,000,000,000,000,000,000,000 market cap. Let's fucking go, crackheads.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Morning Coffee. I got my coffee locked and loaded, ready to go, because we have to talk about altcoins pumping, and it is exactly as we said in the last live stream, that now some random altcoins are pumping hard while the others are staying in slight positive, slight negative mode until it's their turn, and that is exciting. Today we are going to talk about CRO, and we're going to talk about loaded lions that many might not know just yet, but they are also pumping today, and there is some very interesting stuff. We're also going to talk about Sandbox in the context of Lion, Ecomi token, right? We are going to talk about all of this. So if you want to know what it's all about, then make sure to stay all the way through. So good morning to each and every one of you, and I'm opening this up straight away with the altcoin market, and we do see that we did continue on the CRO pump, and we do have this lion also now in the top 100 and with the pumpers, and then we do have a little bit movement out of Radium and Solana, as yesterday also discussed. On the weekly, you see the pump is even bigger. CRO is up 142%, and so almost 3x now, and Lion is up 62%, seeking to double, while some other coins are moving in the 5 to 10% range. Not that exciting, but what is happening? So yesterday we have covered that. Where is it? I think I still have it open somewhere. That crypto.com, that's not it. That's also not it. There it is. Crypto.com has partnered with Trump Media, and basically you becoming utility token for Truth social platform. In line with partnership, Trump Media will purchase approximately 105 million. Now, the Lions, Loaded Lions, is a 2021 NFT play or NFT project that came out of Crypto.com. So the two are linked. This shows you that sometimes, or in many cases, if the base layer or the parent project pumps, then also its related NFT collection, related tokens, and so on are pumping. So you see it when L1s are pumping, then what's on top of it is going to pump as well. So you see Solana pump, Radium is on Solana, right? So basically the exchange there on Solana, right? So you see CRO pump, Lions goes with it, right? So this is important to know for the alt season, in my opinion, especially if you want to pick coins that haven't pumped yet and that are going to do very, very well as well. But why is the Lions coin also pumping? Not for nothing, right? So Lions, being this spin-off out of, or this project out of CRO, they have been listed on L-Bank, so they have their own token. This is why you can see it there, right? Not only 10,000 NFTs, but also token. Lion gains exposure to L-Bank's 9 million user base. which is one of the reasons why it's pumping. Then also South Korea expansion. And here's the next parallel, right, to Ecomi, where you say, okay, you want to expand to Asia. Absolutely, you want to do that with the token, right? So you see every time a token goes somewhere nuts in Asia, the token goes completely ballistic, right? So strategic push into Asia's third largest crypto market. And then also they have launched a roadmap, Q4 roadmap reveal that happened already on 12th of July, right? So mobile gaming integration and buyback events planned. Now, what does it tell us? First of all, there are still coins that do buybacks. Yeah, so we shouldn't discard this completely, maybe for Ecomi as well, as buybacks had been planned in the last bull run, but never executed because of legal concerns. But more important to me is the roadmap argument, right? We see Lions has, by the way, can you even see this? Here you go. Lions has this roadmap planned, right? So you see here the key milestones include main city is the Q4 launch. So this is something probably, so they have a game, right? And there you have this main city. In-game Lion utility upgrade, so the coin is used in-game. And you see the parallels, right? We do have the VeVeverse. You could use Omi in the VeVeverse. Quarterly buybacks funded by NFT royalties. This is something we do not have, right? The NFT royalties are going back to the to the people that to the brands that launch on the app, which is fine, right? Because this is long-term sustaining. That actually the brands that are launching on VeVe can do well and see that VeVe is an income stream, but still there could be a % royalty or something like that that leads to buyback burn of Omi, something like that. Yeah, so neutral to bullish, mobile gaming could onboard mainstream users, but execution risk remains higher, right? You see the parallels here. Plus, it's originally an NFT play that is pumping, which is very, very good for the narrative that, yeah, such coins can pump. So, quick look here at the chart also for CRO first. We do see this in the context of what can our altcoins do next, right? So we do see similar things here, and it's interesting that it comes at the same time, right? So you basically have something like this here, right? What we see on all coins unfolding, which is why I believe that all of our coins at some point will start this rally mode here, and that comes, of course. And this is why we have started all other streams until now, basically with a macro view, as the macro environment goes risk on, right? And how long this takes, I don't know. But just from this small pullback here, oh God, okay, we are up 181% for CRO, right? In the last week, basically. So CRO with a mega breakout of this kind of inverse, kind of cup and handle pattern here. Not extremely clean, but good enough, right? And then if you see also the larger history here, I think we can see back for the last bull run. All-time high was at sub $1 or close to $1. So I think over the course of the next 60 days or so, probably it's going to challenge this all-time high at close to $1. Will it break it? I have no clue. But that for CRO. Let's see if this. What is the ticker for Lions? Let's see how this looks. If this has any similarities here. Loaded Lion is only Lion. USDT, and then we are going to talk. Then we have to talk about Sandbox. That doesn't look like a right chart. Something happened. Oh, maybe did they like do something like revamp the token or so? That charts usually look like this when they revamp the token or something like that. Lion USDT perpetuals. There's only a Gate.io, it seems, as chart. So I don't know what exactly happened here, but there's a huge gap in this chart, and it's the only chart, so I can't really tell. But here we don't see that. Maybe we open it from here. Let's see. No, it's also here. It's also here. Yeah, I don't know what happened here, but that's crazy. Okay, and now, okay, so this Ecomi is, and this is crazy, right? Sandbox, where is it? So it's here in the top 200, right? Where Ecomi is not even in the top 300, 107, slight 0.1 in the green, so it's super small, that's why I can see it. But okay, it's place 107, it has $691 million market cap. That's roughly a 5x, would be a 5x for Ecomi. But look at the news. So here we go, right? This is from yesterday. Big shake-up being reported at the Sandbox. Over half of employees being laid off. Founders removed from current roles. Animoca CEO Robbie Young has stepped in. At least 5 offices to be closed. Apparently there's a meme coin launchpad in the works. The big whale also reporting that an unnamed source close to the company says many of the game's few remaining users are just bots based in South America. So this is the let's say unhonorable story of Sandbox, which was once the leading metaverse to go in kind of Minecraft looking style, and they wanted to be like super crazy metaverse thingy, right? So it's not happening apparently, right? But they're going to do something with it, otherwise you wouldn't have Animoca CEO Robbie Young stepping in. And then we do see some very valid comments. One is this one from Caro. A metaverse company has offices. That's very true, right? Why the fuck? If you have a metaverse, like your sole purpose is a metaverse, why do you need an office you can meet in the metaverse? Yeah, but just kidding. I mean, we know what's happening. But they had more than 5 offices. How the heck did they sustain all of that operation? It's absolutely crazy. Yeah. Sad for Sandbox, metaverses are rough business. Absolutely. And this is why it's very good that Ecomi is not like solely metaverse. It's more the collectible, digital collecting and so on. Metaverse just being a means to use your collectibles in a showroom, right? If Sandbox has basically tried to build it from the wrong side, right? Build the metaverse first and then find users for it. Ecomi is doing it the other way around. They have found the users. They have excited a huge community, and then they built a showroom. And from the showroom, they built a bigger showroom, right? So basically, if you, in hindsight, you're looking at it and you're like, okay, that makes more sense. You bring your community from one platform into the other and then see how it goes. But the VeVeverse is not their main income stream, right? Whereas here with Sandbox, their metaverse and the use, like the NFTs, the land was the main use case that they had. So I agree with that, right? House cleaning, absolutely. This is the thing, right? It seems that also, for example, you look at the lions from CRO, right? Loaded lions. It's an NFT collection, but just that doesn't sustain itself. So they brought the user base with the NFTs and they built a game apparently, right? So now they have two things: NFT royalties, game, right? I don't know if they need funding. Probably they do, because in contrast to VeVe, they only have their own NFTs, right, that need to be recycled. Whereas VeVe just has, as a marketplace, has the NFTs of what? Coca-Cola, Disney, Marvel Comics without end, right? So a lot of transactions going on all the time that bring royalties that fund VeVe plus the licensors. And then right now there needs to be this: how can a percentage of royalties go back into giving value to the token, make the token more attractive, pump the token, and hence find more users through the token, right? So to onboard on VeVe. But I think VeVe has a very broad stance here, and we do see right now that who doesn't have that has a big problem. Plus, I think VeVe doesn't have really, either VeVe doesn't have offices or they don't have a big office. But I think the VeVe operation is way more lean, you know. It's interesting that they probably Animoca say, okay, let's just use this thing because they have so many followers, they have a token, and make a meme coin launchpad out of it. The question is, would that benefit Sand in the long run? Does the token get rebranded and so on? That is the question, right? When we're looking at Sand here, it's interesting that it seems that many people didn't hear about it, because the token since 1 week is exactly at 0% and only down 6% on the month, and even up 8.9% on the year. So usually if I would see this, I would try, I don't know if I would try to run here, right? But we have said that from a technical standpoint, you guys that are subscribed and here every day, you remember we did look at this base of Sand and said, theoretically, just from a chart standpoint, this doesn't look too bad, right? So of course you want to go back, you want to pump, but then now with this news, you kind of want to know what's going on, right? Why? So this is, I mean, Animoca support good, right? The rest bad, but cost cutting before the project dies is also good, right? So you have a mixed stance here, right? There could be still something coming out of this. And so that for Sand, I think that's interesting. Then we do have Ecomi in the spotlight, and Ecomi is pumping, or was pumping, now it's correcting a little bit, but was pumping way longer than expected, right? Usually we did see a lot of these same day sell-offs where you just have this needle wick on the top. We did see that whales or sellers came in hard here in short time frame, but we didn't see. So what we see is, if we go to the 4 hourly, it looks more like a bull flag unfolding. If you see this and this, right? Something like that. This could be a continuation where price wants to go one more time, right? For Ecomi, it's nice when you have a lag when you're drawing, right? On the long run, I mean, you do see this weekly candle, and we don't just yet know how much sell-off is coming in total. I think it's a bull flag, right? We will see if it plays out that way on the 4 hourly. But so far it looks pretty good, right? And we do see that this 00047 overhead resistance is a very valid overhead resistance to break, right? So yeah, with that, let's dive a little bit deeper into Omi. But first of all, let's welcome all of our rare hodlers, green names in the chat. We do have Trucking Hand, good morning to you. We have Troy Paris, good morning. We do have G Money in the house bringing us coffee. We do have Puka Ljotric, morning hodlers, morning PH. And we have some non-rare hodlers that we see all the time. We have Divine the Thing, we have Jasper Frank, we have Haven Pack, new here. I think it says 70% of my portfolio is CRO. I've put my whole life savings into CRO over the last 4 or 5 years. What a bet. What a bet. But it looks good, right? And I mean, putting the whole life savings into crypto is always a risky thing, but when it plays out, it feels really good, right? And probably it was very hard to hodl during that time. So my question is, what kept you going, right, during that brutal bear market? Answer exponential networks. Good morning to you as well, whatever that is. Back to Ecomi. Welcome everyone to the chat. Back to Ecomi. We do have some comments. Someone pushed directly into that niche, like saying, I see you Korea, which is exactly what I think what the aim is, right? Getting Asia excited about Ecomi and VeVe. Welcome to the Omi fam. We got VeVe. I bet in the future we'll see drops with brands you grew up to love. Wish everyone success and many green candles in the future. So that obviously is a nice statement. Then we do have this, and I really like that people, like the VeVe fam does never forget, right? There's still a pending third wish of the Aladdin lamp. Does VeVe officially remember this? That is true. Over when this dropped, I think 4 years ago or something like that, or a little bit less. There was basically David, you said in the stream that there is a third wish for left over in this magic lamp of Aladdin. And I mean, you see here, someone is betting hardcore on these sets. And you see the floor price is still nuts, right? I mean, this went in when it dropped and this rumor was going on. This went for $300, like together, or I think each even, right? So it's extremely low still, right? We do have a new era where Ecomi suddenly is green. We will see probably corrections along the way, that is for sure. We also do have a bigger sale, 10 million Omi sale, or 10 million Omi stacker floor. But one of the Marvel Comics #1 just sold for $3.6 thousand US, so almost 1 ETH, not quite, like 0.7 ETH or so, and that's pretty big, right? That's pretty big of a sale. So overall, we do see, again, looking at VeVe and VeVe NFTs here, refreshing that we do have constant sales going on, and within the constant sales, we do have bigger sales also going on, right? Most of these comics that are sold here are like $1-2 thingies, but also you have to see that a $1 comic going to $2 it's a 100% gain, right? Then okay, you have to subtract the fees and so on, but we do see a lot of things being traded on this market. I mean, all of this is happening in the last hour, and we cannot forget that this is most marketplaces do not have that. Here, more expensive collectibles like the Emperor's Fist or Carnage, right, which are ranging in $100-200 ranges, are being traded all within the last hour, right? So I think VeVe is doing really great here in that. And there you go, 1 hour ago, amazing Spider-Mans. And we do see sometimes when we scroll through this, wallets like going nuts, right? For example, this wallet, B83B, has just minted 5 comics on the VeVe Comics page, right? We can't forget that they have a page where they host all the new Marvel comics and stuff like that, bring them out with cover variants for exclusive, but also giving you the ability to read those comics. And I think that this is being used, maybe it's not like gigantic, But if every week you make thousands of dollars for Marvel and yourself on this page, that's pretty good, right? And in a bull run, this will probably accelerate. So we do see all across the board, like everything from stamps to art collectibles, everything is trading, selling, minting on the market right now. So you see here a lot of these art thingies are minted at the moment. Yeah, really, really nice. Troy Perry says there was a Donnie that sold a few days ago. Also, yo, I saw this. I think it sold for $12,000. You're right. Let me see. Let me check. VeVe Donnie should be somewhere in there, right? Yeah, here, August 26th, stacker floor 40 million Omi, USD price 18,000, mint 148 just sold. So that means, looking at, and these collectibles are like iconic season 1 collectibles that even became a meme, a status symbol on VeVe. This stupid little pony, right? But doesn't matter, right? It is a piece of history. And the fact that people spend almost $20,000 on VeVe for one single collectible shows me that once people have exuberant amounts of crypto, the move into the Omi token to grab some of these collectibles is logical, right? It sounds illogical from a bear market perspective, but the moment that you see that some people just will make 10x their money on the market and then have so much money that they don't care anymore, they will 100x their investment. Some people ape $5,000 into whatever small altcoin. It does 1,000x. Those people don't care anymore, right? They and this will happen again in this run, I believe. So I think we saw it, right, with the lions here, loaded lions, right? These NFTs will get attention, right? So I do think that these things, especially iconic comics like Marvel comics, secret rare comics, will get attention again. That is the only thing that I still want on VeVe and don't have. Really crazy. I mean, yeah, Adorni I think is the ultimate flex within the VeVe community. Outside, I would say that things like Miles Morales Spider-Man, Marvel Comics #1, VeVe Gold and Silver logo, Grogu and Pram, Todd McFarlane Batman, and so on, partner statue. Those are the grails that people will be looking for, and the more the floor goes up, the more exciting it will be for certain people to use this as a flex. We saw that in the last run. Many people are like, oh, you bought a mutant ape for $100,000 and now it's worth only $15,000. That's like, the people that did this, they don't really care, right? People that did this, they don't care about that they lost this. That for them it was a PR, it was a flex. Like, take Neymar or whoever bought Bored Ape. Do you really think this guy cares about the money of that Bored Ape? I don't think so, man. I don't think so. So in that time, it's all about attention, about the flex grabbing. Basically, VeVe grabs a part of the crypto space as their community, and then people try to tap into the VeVe community to get attention out of that, like stars, football players, music stars, and so on. Either they launch their collection on VeVe or they grab big ass collectibles and flex with it, right? We saw that in the last bull run when Captain America was one of the only animated collectibles on the app. And we had Barcelona's Sergi Roberto posting on Instagram a video next to a Christmas tree of Captain America doing salute, right? So, yeah, I do think that that this is happening again, right? I remember it from the last run, and maybe we will see different things pump. Maybe we will see new grails appearing adding to the old grails, and especially when some of the old, you see it already, the Donny was, when it launched, it was like $50 or so, right, in the drop, and then it never came back down, right? It went to, I think, $100,000 in the bull run, but being at 20,000 or 18,000 right now is not that shabby, right, for a project that has been called dead and actually selling on that level. So I do think that once grails become unaffordable, a new grail appears, right? Just as when Bitcoin became unaffordable, new coins appeared. When Ethereum became unaffordable or did not have the prospect for that big of returns for your money, other coins start pumping, right? It's the same logic. So Donny out of reach. So people that have spare $4,000 or $5,000 will grab maybe a Marvel Comics #1 or a partner statue, and then the floor goes up. No one wants to sell it anymore for that price. The price gets negotiated to the upside, and then people are like, okay, then let me fucking buy Grogu and Prime, right? And then Grogu and Prime goes up. So 30% of Donnies are in 2 wallets too, so even more rare. Yeah, and the question is, are these wallets alive, or are they basically gone, right? Because believe it or not, there are bots, there are people that have been banned forever. So some of the collectibles might be even more scarce than we actually know about. And the same might even be for Marvel Comics #1, even the commons. Because if we do see 60,000 edition in circulation, but actually 30,000 of these are not there anymore, then that changes the reality of the collectible, right? So I think there are also many people that involved their family members, and those family members, they bought 2-3 collectibles and then they never came back. They didn't do KYC, or they traded it even to them, and they don't even know how to handle the app, so they might never come back to the app. Basically, yeah. These clickbait titles PMO so much. What do you mean clickbait title? It's Crow and Lion are pumping. I mean, isn't that what's in the title? And then Ecomi is also pumping, and I think that's in the title, right? I mean, what's the... I literally only hold Crow. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, really nice. So that is, I mean, 216% move out of Ecomi. I think that's a pump, right? Yeah, and it signals that when there was no alt, let us really discuss this, because people say, oh, this is a clickbait title. Yeah. Buying under 10 cents, congratulations to you. That's really nice. People are like, oh my god, clickbait titles. First of all, YouTube is full of people doing titles and clickbait titles, right? So if you want any audience, then you have to go with this and at least compete, right? And keep it as low as possible for not like putting, oh my god, we are going to be all millionaires. But on the other hand, you need to get the attention, because otherwise I can just stop doing that, and then you can watch BitBoy Crypto. And then that's it, right? Then you're happy. So let's put this a little bit into context here. Why titles are like they are. something ongoing in the market, maybe big pump coming in BTC ETH. Let's check it out quickly. So Bitcoin went back into this range, it seems. So Bitcoin approaching 113,000, and you're right, that is bullish because so we are on the daily here, and it seems that exactly what we've been talking about I think yesterday or 2 days ago, that actually when you look at the weekly, that range has never been lost, right? From today's perspective, which is really good, right? We might see the turnaround already. We might see that we get a move to the upside here to 123,000 again out of this. So it seems that market is gearing up. Let's check out ETH USDT because we cannot forget, altcoin season is coming, right? It's coming. We do see the first signs, but more importantly is we are in ETH season, which precedes the alt season, right? It does. Stated to big volume in BTC than USDT in a total volume market. Wow. Okay. So we do see, Ethereum wants to come back up as well, but not that clear, concise yet. Something ongoing in the market. But where do you see, Taufik, where do you see the USDT volume there, right? So for Bitcoin, I mean, where do you see this total volume pattern, basically? How high will ETH go? I do think that, so our targets are at 5,500, and then the breakout target of this larger pattern at 7,000. I think that's the target. I know that there are many people out there that have way higher targets than this, but this would be the 7,000 would be the measured move out of this pattern, right? Multi-year pattern. So for me, profit taking at 5,500 for like smaller profit, and then ultimate profit taking at 7,000. And if it goes then to 15,000, then I'm still okay, right? I'm okay with that, but I'm not willing to wait until like the whole move happened and try to time the absolute top. Rather, I mean, it could easily go to 9,000 or so, but yeah. So we do see on the monthly that we're barely in a bull cross here on the TSI. For ETH, we do see that our RSI is on 65, which is nowhere near overbought. We do see that we are in positive momentum for ETH, and we expect ETH to go nuts, right? So right now is also not the time for me for selling, but once we're approaching 5,500 and on the way to 7,000, I'm going to take profit on ETH. What price is CRO going? Back to all-time high, I guess. Almost sub $1, and then from there we will have to see. We will have to wait and see, right? How the indicators look once you come back there. My personal opinion, right? Yeah, so we do see that the market is slightly turning green on the daily, right? So the coins that are up, they are up 1 to 5%, nothing too big. In terms of alt season, I do see that, okay, this is ETH, right? ETH BTC is very important for the ETH season. Wait a second, I had a better one. I think Bitstamp, right? Yeah. So basically we are halfway through ETH season, and we say that ETH goes up here somewhere, right, throughout the next 2 months. So we expect 2 to 3 big fat green candles in comparison to Bitcoin. And then it hits its head here, and that's then the end of ETH outperformance. In that time, we do expect large caps to go already ballistic. We do see it already. It's the beginning, right? CRO is one of them. OKB we have seen already. We expect others like AVAX, Solana, Sui. XRP is already going, right? But we expect the others to follow suit. And then we do expect with this pump that the TOTAL2 is breaking out, right? And by the way, we do see here, we haven't broken out on the monthly, right? The chart pattern is cleanest on the weekly. And we do see that, yeah, it's not much is missing to really have this as a back test, right? You wanted to go to 161. Good morning to Mewtwo in the house. This needs to be discussed in much details, PH. Gems are not taxable, just like V-Bucks in Fortnite aren't taxable. It's an in-game currency. I'm at a conclusion that gems aren't taxable. After November 19th, that is. So in general, if your asset is an NFT, then your government, wherever you are in the world, right, X already has defined that as asset, then the tax laws apply to that as if you sell a picture or a whatever, right, or like a painting or a art object or whatever, right? But then there are specific rules for NFTs in countries where an NFT has the same rule as a crypto token, where specific holding times give you tax-free for like, and this is, I'm not like, I mean, you have to research yourself, but the good thing is you don't have to spend much money on a lawyer or something like explaining that to you. You can use AI first, right? You can do deep research with AI. So I encourage everyone to use AI for whatever you want to research, right? You can even drop into AI and ask what a token does and why it's pumping right now, right? Especially if you have a model that uses live data from the internet, right? You don't need like hours and hours of putting together articles and trying to understand how everything ties together. You can just question your AI, right? And that is, if you're not doing that, you are losing super like amounts of time of your life. You know, you're losing lifetime if you're not doing that, right? So here, TOTAL2, we want to see TOTAL2 climb a little bit more in the next 3 days so that we can stay above this range, right? So that we have this as a back test of this range, which is the neckline of a gigantic cup and handle. Here, you see it right here, absolute valid, gigantic cup and handle, about to break out. It's just a matter of time, right? Sup boys, hey pro legendary, what is going on? I know that I've already read about this in Sweden, says Mewtwo, where I'm living now. Okay, I need a lawyer to consult me on this. ChatGPT concluded that I wouldn't have to pay taxes. I need to know this. But also question, like, I mean, ChatGPT alone, like, you have to question back, like, but is this true? I read this and that, right? So you question back, and sometimes AI comes back and says, oh yeah, you're right, this and that, right? So it's not that perfect just yet. But I saw also the other way around, that I say, hey, this guy told me this, but I know this. Can you give an opinion or whatever, right? So yeah. Hope Crow gets more pumping. Yeah, I mean, Crow is, it's like, just because a coin is pumping right now doesn't mean that the old season after this is over for this coin, right? By the way, this we drew this in, I don't know when we yesterday in the stream, right, when we talked about why Crow is pumping, I think it was. So we do see that Crow absolutely smashed its previous resistances and now finds resistance on the previous last bull market support, so to say, right here. So here and what can happen here is, it doesn't have to, it can just pump straight through, but you also have to see that now it's not that far away. I mean, it's still far away, but not that far away from its all-time high, right? It only needs like less than a 3x and it's back at all-time high, right? But what can happen here is you hit your head at this resistance, you come back, you find support, and then you go again, right? That can happen, of course. Sorry, you didn't see that. Let me do it again. You can find resistance here, come back, test, come back up, back test, here, go, right? It's usually it's like this. All these areas where things are noisy, that's usually also where you find resistance, right? Like here, so this area where it was a little bit noisy, it's likely that we find also some resistance here, right? Indicator-wise, let's look at Crow indicator-wise. On the weekly, we are entering overbought territory, okay? We are at 83. In the last bull runs, that was where 2 times at 90 latest, 2 times big reversal came in, right? So after we hit 90 here on the weekly, we had a 70% correction, okay? The question is, can you live with that, right? Without taking profit. And then we had here, this was the absolute peak, right? That went to the bear market, 95% gone of value. So it's really important to, in my opinion, for now, for Crow, to observe that you are right now at 83.3 on the RSI after a pump that is from here to here, a 5x, right? You went from 7 cents all the way to 35 cents, so 37 cents. And you are hitting RSI of 83.3. So if you have bought in down there, you could, and I'm not saying it's financial advice or anything, but you could consider taking some chips off of the table in such an investment, right? Because the error of many people was that they came in at 3 cents, they rode the wave to a 1,300%, 2,000%, right? 25x. No one took profit, and then they lost it all again, right? So looking at that also on different time frames is important, because if you look on the monthly, you have exactly one time that you have been overbought on an 85 level, right? And right now we're not there yet on the monthly, we're at 69. But the moment that you're coming into 80 or something like that, right? Or close to 80 here, that could be the end of the Crow ride, right? We don't know. Which is why many people say gradually laddering out of those coins that have these massive pumps has been a proven strategy. Like, for example, let's say you are up 7x here, right? Because you bought all this stuff at 4 cents, at 7 cents, 8 cents, 6 cents, you are up like 5x or so. Would it be so bad to lock in 10% of the bag? Or 20? and let the rest ride. I don't know. Your choice, your decision. You can also say, nah, man, it's going to $8, right? It's going to, right? You can, of course, you can also say, I'm selling only when it comes back to all-time high. Maybe CRO will go to $3, right? Maybe. I don't know. I do not have a crystal ball. I'm just laying out what the proven strategy for people that were successful in the other bull run are, hey, I'm up 5x, let's take out the initial investment so I cannot lose anymore. Now my back turns into a moon bag, right? Yes, sure, hope CRO gets more pumping. And then let's say you're on a 5x, your initial investment is out if you take 20%. So you have $1,000 invested. You're sitting at $6,000 now, right? Or $5,000. You take 1,000 out. You have a $4,000 moon bag that could double, triple, or go to zero. But you can't lose anymore because you have your $1,000 back. You can't lose anymore. Yeah. But that needs to be clear. Also, if you decide to not take anything, it needs to be clear that this also can happen, right? Minus 95% on a $5,000, you can make the math. You can do the math, what that is, right? 5,000 times 0.95. That's what you lose. Or 5,000 times 0.05, that's what you will have left over then if you ride another bear market. On the other hand, can you sell too early? Let's discuss that as well. Yes, possible, right? XRP, look at XRP. Went up here, right? People sold here. Like people sold the 80% pump, 80 cents pump, and then it went to $3, right? Of course you can be, but one thing is clear: no one ever became poor or bankrupt by selling in a profit. That's impossible. You make profit, yeah. CRO was a great play. I think we'll keep running as the bull run peaks. Yeah, but the question is, we will not know when the peak is. We will not know. Of course, from everything that we see on TOTAL2, on Bitcoin dominance, on easing, quantitative easing, and so on, we do see that the bull run is only about to start for altcoins. And we do see for XRP that XRP had its pump already in the beginning of the year, went 6x from here on this breakout, and now it's going more, and this is a bullish pattern right this year. But you also have to see XRP did hit 83 on the RSI, and from that 83 on the RSI it corrected 47%. It did reset its RSI on the monthly, and now it's going again, and now it's back at all-time high, right? So it then went on another 120% pump. So had you taken profit here, you would have missed out of that, right? True. But taking the initial investment here is not wrong, because it's very unlikely that XRP goes more than double from here. No. It can, of course, but you also have to see the amount of money that is needed for XRP to double is another $178 billion needs to flow in XRP only to double this. Of course, XRP can double and triple if Ethereum is able to double, which is our proposition, right? That it doubles, and that needs $500 billion to double. Of course it can happen. But I'd rather bet on a coin like MCAD or Omi or whatever that has only 25 million to do a 10x than on XRP. But as with any altcoin, people better take some profits at peaks or they will cry. says Pukaljotric. And that's absolutely right. And I'm telling you that for me, this has been a very hard lesson from the last bull run, because I did not know about cycles, and neither did I know about anything else. So what's good, how much can it pump, where it goes, indicators, I didn't look at it, and so on. Right now, I think indicators can give us a good idea what the likelihood is of more upside versus that it goes on a big correction. Because if you have $1,000 that go to $10,000 and then correct 50%, it still feels bad because you had 10,000, now you have 5,000. You're massive in a profit. You're still up 5x, but you have been up 10x, right? So taking the initial investment at a 10x would have been really good, right? Because you would then sit at $4,500 with initial investment out versus sitting at $5,000 with initial investment still in, right? So that is, I think, where I say my personal new golden rule is whenever things are up, axis that I define, I want to take my initial investment, no questions asked, right? Except for Bitcoin. Bitcoin, I don't care, right? Bitcoin is just, let me get as much as possible. But for all other altcoins, where, I mean, you see it with Sand right now. What is it worth, like holding Sand for another bull run? You don't know. Maybe it's not even named Sand anymore. Maybe it doesn't exist anymore. Maybe it's dead, right? Terra Luna, another thing, right? The indicators on Luna Classic at the time, like, that thing went into the top 10 or something like that, and then it imploded and doesn't exist anymore. People lost so much money. Anyways, guys, that is it for today. Enough with crypto philosophy. We do see CRO pumping, feels really good for everyone holding CRO. We do see Lions pumping, which is related to CRO. We do see Ecomi pumping, which feels absolutely amazing. Corrections can come in, right? We do see the market gearing back up again, right? So that is also nice. So guys, make sure to smash up the like button here. 40 people watching Crypto Morning Coffee here almost every day in the morning. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, notifications on, consider becoming a rare hodler supporting this channel if you enjoy clickbait titles and analysis on altcoins that are doing something. Let me also know in the comments below later on which altcoins you want to look at more, which altcoins you want to know about more, and wherever you are on the world, have yourselves a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon, and I catch you in the next video or live stream. Bye bye.